Okay, my computer is showing 1 o'clock, and so at this time I'll call to order the special meeting of the Douglas County Board of Commissioners for May 23rd, 2022. At this time I would ask, I would indicate that on the agenda we have Commissioner Noasad, who is scheduled to do the Pledge of Allegiance. However, Commissioner Noasad was informed about 15 minutes ago that he has a medical emergency on the valley floor, and so he had to step away and will not be joining us today. So in that stead, we'll have Commissioner Tarkanian lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, Mr. Tarkanian. Anyways, this is a special meeting, and it's only going to cover one item today, even though it says for presentation only, and we usually do not take public comment during presentation only items before the board. Today, because of the nature of the meeting, that's really the purpose is to get public input. And so, and this issue pertains strictly to the Tahoe Township, and that's why we're holding this meeting up here in the Tahoe Township. However, we are required to take public comments both before and closing public comments. So at this time, public comment will be taken. It's limited to 3 minutes per speaker unless additional time is granted by the board chairperson. The Board of Commissioners uses timing lights to ensure that everyone has an opportunity to speak. You will see a green light when you begin, and then a yellow light, which indicates that you have 30 seconds left and should conclude your comments. Once the light turns red, we ask you to discontinue talking and resume your previous seat. As I indicated, in addition to opening public comment will also be taken. We don't have any administrative items. We have one, so we'll be taking that. So this, I'm saying some stuff that are not necessarily necessary, right? Anyways, at this time, public comment will be taken on those items that are within the jurisdiction and control of the Douglas County Board of Commissioners. I ask you when you approach, I'm also, if you would please, if you could silence your personal electronic devices, and when you approach the microphone, if you would print your name on the sheet that we have here. State your name, state your name for the record. So at this time, public comment on items that are not on this agenda will be taken. Is there any opening public comment? Wow. Okay. Then, Ms. Johnson, is there any public comment online?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Marsha Johnson for the record. At this time, there's no opening public comment online. Okay.
And that means public comment, opening public comment is closed. And at this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the agenda be approved as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Rice, seconded by Commissioner Tarkanian to approve the agenda as presented. Sensing no further discussion, and we do have Commissioner Ingalls online, so there's available a 4-0 vote if that's indicated. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 4-0. So at this time, we'll go into the administrative agenda. The chairperson will read the agenda title into the public record, and we'll have the discretion to determine how the item is presented. Agenda items may be considered, we only have one, so we're not going to consider one out of order. And once again, I ask you to, when you come forward to make public comment on this particular item, after the presentation, we'll ask you to sign your name, print your name, and then also state your name for the record. I'm going to ask today also, since this involves multiple jurisdictions, two states, two counties. I would ask that you also, when you do make public comment after Mr. Feldman's presentation, when we go to public comment on the item, that you state which county you reside in, if you would, please, just so the board understands exactly who's involved here today. So at this time, for presentation, it says for presentation only item. So we will not be taking action on this item as a board today. We will be scheduling this for a action item at a future board meeting, not to be determined yet. Okay. So presentation by the Douglas County Visitors Authority regarding the future implementation of a microtransit service at South Shore Lake Tahoe, and this is being presented by Mr. Lou Feldman with Feldman Thiel LLP. So, Mr. Feldman.
Yes.
I'll try this again. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Commissioners, Lou Feldman on behalf of the Tahoe Douglas Visitors Authority, and really want to thank you guys for coming up to the lake and letting us express our support for microtransit. And let me start with this PowerPoint presentation. So I thought I had, you said right button?
Yeah.
So a fair question is, what is microtransit? And microtransit is a shuttle or van system, typically 9 to 14 passenger, that is very similar to the consumer's experience with Lyft or Uber. So it's an app-based system where you take out your phone, you're at point A and you want to go to point B. It will tell you that the van will arrive within X amount of minutes, and in our particular circumstance, we're hoping that the headways are 15 minutes or less, and will take you to the appointed destination and may pick up 2 or 3 or 4 other folks en route. So it's an efficient form of Uber or Lyft, if you will. And what makes it particularly compelling, and we think likely to support very high ridership, is it's free to the consumer. It's free to the user, whether you're a local or a visitor. And we expect to have 4 or 5 vans in operation. They would be ADA accessible and operate within a given service area. Why microtransit? Well, there's a lot of reasons why this is, I think, desirable for this region. The elephant in the room may be that, as you know, there's an event center that has some mitigation requirements, and part of that is that there be a microtransit system. But microtransit delivers a variety of benefits that also address a variety of concerns. We have heard, and all of us have probably experienced, some congestion in the core. Well, if more people ride transit and fewer people drive, and there's fewer vehicles on the road, there are obvious environmental benefits. There's the air quality benefit, and particularly in the wintertime, as we put abrasives on the roads, the more traffic that runs over those abrasives, the more fine particles find their way into Lake Tahoe. So we have not only air quality, but water quality benefits, as well as, circulation, level of service, and just the quality of life. It's interesting that we are not pioneering this system. This system is in place in other venues, and by way of example, it's in place at North Shore, bi-state at North Shore, Washoe County, Placer County. And since its inception in June of 2021, over 100,000 folks have ridden this amenity at North Shore for free. 56% of them are local, 44% are visitors. And again, the benefits are self-evident. What was the date you said? June of 2021. The other feature that is also noteworthy is it's not an isolated system. The system operates in collaboration or in coordination with existing services. So, for example, if you happen to be wanting to go ski at Heavenly Mountain Resort, you take out your app. You may say, I'm expecting the micro shuttle, but a Heavenly shuttle is closer. And so this app would advise you that the most efficient way for you to get from point A to point B is to use another one of the existing services. So this will be operating on the app in coordination with the Tahoe Transportation District's fixed route system, as well as the Heavenly Shuttle system and potentially the airport transportation system as well. I think I've probably already highlighted that at North Shore this has had a high level of ridership and customer satisfaction. It's also in place in Aspen, Colorado, in Summit County in Utah, at Beaver Creek, and so many of the Vail resorts and others have found this to be a highly desirable, highly efficient, quite frankly, amenity now to the visitor. People that come to these markets are getting accustomed to free and frequent transportation. In our particular instance, we have a service area that is a little more robust than originally anticipated, but it would go along Highway 50, and to the south, it would be Al Tahoe up to Pioneer Trail, and then as that kind of triangle moves back towards the state line, it would include the Cal Base at Heavenly and conclude through the Casino Core. The system is also anticipated, of course, if people are riding it, they're not driving their cars, and there's less demand on existing parking. So this slide to me is almost overwhelming. No one other than the Tahoe Douglas Visitors Authority on this slide of 20 entities that have stepped up and reached into their pocket to help fund this, none of them have an obligation to do so. So we have 20 partners ranging from the community college to the League to Save Lake Tahoe to El Dorado County, and it's noteworthy, El Dorado County is contributing $200,000 with no service. And you say, well, why would El Dorado County contribute $200,000 when they're not getting any service? Well, for the reason that a lot of these folks are contributing is this is a pilot program. It is anticipated that we're going to grow this system. And so the city of South Lake Tahoe, again, which has no permit obligation or contractual obligations, contributing $150,000. And all told, these 20 partners have come up with about $600,000 to help initiate this trial period, this 1 year before, quite frankly, any service is required under the TRPA permit. And from education to healthcare to recreation to regulatory entities, I have never seen a community come together with that broad range of stakeholders to support something that is voluntary. I mean, they're stepping up because this is the right thing to do. And we ask the question, well, should Douglas County participate in this? I say that perhaps rhetorically, but the answer to that question in my mind is yes, for a variety of reasons. Obviously, folks in Douglas have expressed concern about congestion in the core. This is going to reduce congestion in the core. It's not only going to reduce congestion in the peak times, which are summer and winter, but in the shoulder seasons as well, because what we're proposing is to operate this 24/7, well, not 24/7, but 365 days a year. I've already addressed that there are environmental benefits that will accrue from this system, and that in Douglas County, the largest employers and taxpayers are stepping up to contribute to support this system as well. And this is an important distinction, and I appreciate the chairman's comments at the beginning of this, but this is unique to the Tahoe Township. And the reason, among others, that it's unique to the Tahoe Township is under the Nevada Revised Statutes, 1% of the transient occupancy tax that is generated in the township must be spent for transportation at the lake. In other words, and just to make it clear for folks that are not familiar with this isn't money that we would be taking from Douglas County's general fund to fund a transportation project. This is money that must be spent for transportation that is not in Douglas County's general fund, that can only be spent at the lake. So sometimes we have a little bit of, I guess, concern that resources are going from the valley to the lake or the lake to the valley. This isn't one of those circumstances. We are completely isolated in that this money can only be spent at the lake for transportation. Another reason, of course, why Douglas County should participate in this is in April of 2020, the commissioners passed Resolution 2020-039, which obligates the county to commit up to 0.5% of the transient occupancy tax to fund microtransit. And as I believe you're well aware, 0.5% today is roughly $600,000. And it's a little interesting as, you know, these projects evolve over time and the months go by and then the years go by. When we made this deal memorialized by the resolution, 0.5% of the transient occupancy tax dedicated to transportation at the lake had been earmarked to debt serve the bond that built the parking structure across the way. And so it was no coincidence that when we talked about 0.5%, we were talking about that 0.5% that got liberated because, to your credit, you paid off the bond. So that money became available when it otherwise would not have been. And notably, transient occupancy tax, even through COVID, has performed better than many of us had anticipated, and the fund is more robust than we had anticipated. And we also anticipate that the event center and the mitigation attributable to the event center will increase spending in Douglas County, and that many of the visitors will take microtransit to the core and perhaps leave the core with their wallets a little lighter than when they got to the core. I hope I can play this. So we're not having any sound on this, but here's an animation that I think might be interesting for you folks with respect to the event center. Some of you toured this recently and got a glimpse to see what it's shaping up to be. But as we look at this, we'll go inside in just a minute. This is the facility that has inspired microtransit at the lake. And in fact, the Tahoe Douglas Visitors Authority, when they conceived of the project, proposed that as part of the project description that we evolve transit and include microtransit. $4 of every ticket sold at the event center, there's a surcharge, and $3 of that $4 will supplement the funding once the event center is open and operating, because the expectation is we will grow this system and have an even more robust microtransit system going forward. Here we're inside the concourse and the corridors. You can see that there's some food service available. I'm sorry that the Four Seasons, Vivaldi's Four Seasons, is the background music, and I can hear it in my head, but you can't enjoy it with me. So as you're at the ground level now, there's a couple of fireplaces here and sort of an assembly space. You can see the stairs leading up. And once you go upstairs, that's where the suite level is, so skyboxes, suites. There are 13 skyboxes. You're looking now over the railing into the arena bowl, the bowl seats for sporting events up to 4,200 and for concerts up to 6,000. These are the premium seats at the upper level, and pretty soon we'll have a nice glimpse of our overhead into the arena. All of this, those are called the rakers on where the seats sit. They're all in place. The bowl, the horseshoe, is pretty much constructed now, and that's what a concert would look like. The stage is at the back end, and behind the stage on the upper level, there's a series of meeting rooms. Here we're getting a view of the skyboxes. They seat about 14 people per box. There are 13 boxes. For those of you that are interested, they're going fast. Here's the aerial view where you can see the stage. And then behind the stage to the top of the screen are where the meeting rooms are. And someday we hope to host the Douglas County Board of County Commissioners. There's going to be some awesome views of the heavenly ski area. This is down along Lake Parkway, and there'll be, of course, improved landscaping along the streetscape. And pretty soon the seasons change, and before you know it, we go from summer to winter. I'm a little ahead in the narrative. There we go. And we're just about done with this walkthrough and fly-through of the event center. Notably, we thought this facility might inspire greater investment in the community. And what we're looking at now is the intersection of Lake Parkway and US Highway 50, where Wells Fargo has historically operated a little bit below grade. And a new project has been submitted to TRPA called Latitude 39, which is just now populating the screen. And that's a 40-unit condominium project that is now in the approval process. On the corner there, there will be street-side restaurant and dining outdoors. And as you look down to the back of that project, that'll be where the entry is with underground parking. There's an amazing, truly amazing rooftop feature on this now gateway companion project to the event center. So you're looking at the roof. There's a series of pools up there, spas, pickleball courts, and of course views to Lake Tahoe. We're looking at it from the Edgewood side of Lake Parkway. And we think that will also contribute to the economic well-being of the market as well as the county generally. Under the TRPA permit, microtransit was required to commence when the event center's first summer of operation occurs, which would be the summer of 2023. Under the resolution, we had the opportunity to start microtransit early, and that's what the intent is, to try and get off the ground ahead of time. And the original requirement was to have summer-only service for the first 3 years, again anticipating that the TOT, 0.5% of the TOT earmarked for transportation at the lake would comfortably support summer-only service for the first 3 years while the event center ramped up and ticket sales increased and revenues increased and partners could be harvested and recruited. But to our, I should continue with that thought. So for the first 3 years, summer-only service, then years 4 and 5, summer and winter service, and then commencing year 6, it would be year-round. And upon reflection, and again, in consultation with stakeholders and partners, the idea of starting and stopping is not necessarily the most efficient way to grow ridership. And dependability and reliability, having something that you can count on 12 months a year seems to be a more likely recipe for success. So TDVA started talking amongst stakeholders at the lake, the 20 or so of whom you saw on the earlier slide, and to TDVA's great pleasure, folks said, hey, let's make this happen early. Let's make this happen year-round. And we're going to put our money where our mouth is. We're going to step up and at least hopefully match Douglas County in terms of trying to make this economically viable and do the right thing for the market and for the environment. So we are poised to start service July 15th of this year, and hopefully we will continue that service into the future and grow the service area, and welcome questions that you may have, and certainly welcome the opportunity for the community to express their thoughts concerning this opportunity. Mr. Chair, I appreciate the platform and welcome any questions that you folks may have.
Thank you, Mr. Feldman. Very impressive presentation. One correction, and it's important that we have this on the record. It's actually 2022 or 2020 R037, not 039. Okay,
Thank
that's
you.
important that we have that in the record. Okay, so that's the resolution number we're talking about. Commissioners, are there any questions that you have before we go to public comment? Because that's the whole purpose, primary purpose of this meeting today, is to ask our residents of the Tahoe Township and of El Dorado County for their input on this process. So, Mr. Tarkanian, you had some questions?
Yeah, I'd just like to see, do we have a copy of the resolution 2020-037 now?
2020R.
Well, I don't have I don't have that. I don't even think if they gave me a packet, I didn't. Okay, can I take a look at this? Absolutely. Go ahead and have public comment while I take. Okay, thank you. You can go ahead.
Okay, okay. Mr. Rice, Commissioner Rice, did you have any questions prior to going to public comment? Okay, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see your hand up yet, John. So, Commissioner Ingalls, do you have comments or questions?
Maybe muted.
Commissioner Ingalls, you appear to be muted at this time.
Mr. Feldman, can you hear me?
I can, Commissioner Ingalls.
What is going to be the capital cost and the operational cost of this microtransit system?
So the first year operating budget, which includes marketing, contract administration, equipment, salaries, and oversight, is approximately $1.2 million.
And then annual operation is estimated to be what?
The annual operating is $940,000. The difference between the 940 and the 1.2 is the marketing and contract administration and a small contingency.
Okay. I've talked to a lot of people up at the lake today. None of them had any idea about any of this. And you talked about getting the word out to the stakeholders. And I think the stakeholders would be people who reside at the lake, and out of common courtesy, they don't know what's going on.
Well, perhaps some folks in the room can enlighten all of us.
Commissioner Ingalls, do you have any other questions or comments before we go to public comment?
Well, nobody responded to my comment about stakeholders being informed of this. But yes, I'm done.
Commissioner Rice?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a project that has been in the woods, out of the woods, in the making, for longer than I've been on this board. This is something that came to be at least 2 different commissions ago. We understood, they understood, and I'm standing on their shoulders right now, that the commissioners then understood that the valuation of the properties at Lake Tahoe was going down. And the reason it was going down was because we don't get gaming revenues. We get revenues assessed on the properties themselves and a little bit of what their profits may be. So this idea was spawned many years ago. And due to the partners that we have, due to the help of Senator Sintelmeyer and Assemblyman Wheeler, the bill was passed saying that for every night stay here at the lake, there was an assessment above the TOT. And that assessment was to go to pay off the bonds to build the event center. The requirement for microtransit has been public in the public venue for 3 years that I know of. And I know that the prior boards had committed to the microtransit, and I know that this is something that's sorely needed up here at the lake. And I envision, not next year, not the year after that, maybe not as long as I'm on this planet, someday you'll be able to go from Mendon to Emerald Bay without having to pay a dime and without having all those cars clogging our highways. This is a vision that many have had. This is something that can happen. I'm praying that it's something that will happen. And I don't know who you talk to, Commissioner, but I can't find 5 people up here that don't know anything about this. So I have no idea who you were talking to. But looking around the room, we have the captains of industry part. Sorry for that. We have the people from the various partners, from the casinos, from the ski resorts. People who have no vested interest are in this room. And I'm here to say, if we took a vote of those that are in favor of microtransit, we would have just about every hand in the room go up. So I disagree with you, sir.
Well, you're welcome to disagree, but just this morning I talked to some people in Glenbrook and they had no idea about this meeting, microtransit. They had not been informed about the loop. So there's a failure to communicate with the stakeholders up there. Everybody should have fundamental understanding. I know that it's been floating around, but, and you're aware of it, because organizations that get into these things. But the average person up at the lake, they don't know what's going on. They don't even know about this meeting.
Commissioner, I would suggest that you talk to somebody that lives here year-round. I don't know how those people cannot know.
I have talked to people year-round.
Okay.
Don't get Kirk with me there, Wes.
Anyways, at this time, Commissioner Tarkanian, you had a question?
Quick question. It's my understanding you asking for $600,000 from Douglas County, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so you're asking all the way up to the 0.5%?
We are.
Okay.
Okay, I have some questions and some comments, but I'm going to save those until after we hear public comment. So
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
if there's no further comments or questions with Mr. Feldman, at this time, we'll go into public comment. Once again, public comment is limited to 3 minutes per person, and we operate with a lighting system. So you'll see a green light when you start, a yellow light when you have 30 seconds left, and when the red light turns red, we do ask you to continue or discontinue talking. We ask you to sign in your name, print your name, please, for the record, and also indicate whether or not you're a resident of Douglas County or El Dorado County. That would be helpful to us as we go forward with this. So anyways, we do want to try to accommodate everybody who wishes to provide public comment today. So at this time, Mr. Purvance, good to see you again.
Good to see you as well. Thank you, Chairman Gardner and Board. Thank you for your time. We spent some time with you about 6 weeks ago, just giving you an update on Barton Health. And just to recap that, well, first of all, my apologies for not following your instructions. I'm a resident of Douglas County, have been since the 1990s, and the president and CEO of Barton Healthcare System. But just to recap, Barton Health is a bi-state health system. We have significant infrastructure in El Dorado County and in Douglas County. A lot of that Douglas County infrastructure is being improved, obviously some down in the valley, in Gardnerville, as we discussed last meeting with you all. And then, of course, up here, there's significant investments the healthcare system is making for the community up here as well into the future. In fact, over the course of the next month or so, we will see that the lakeside across the street will be raised and that site restored as we really get into planning. And I won't spend too much time on planning because I don't have the results of planning, but would be happy to sit in front of you again when we have more details. But regardless of what the plans ultimately will show, we will have more services and more employees here in Douglas County at the lake, in the Lake Township, probably right here within a close vicinity of this actual meeting today. What that is going to mean is we will be driving more to this campus. We'll have a two-campus approach to healthcare, California and Nevada for the lake, Barton Health will. And with more of our patients being served here, as well as more of our employees here, will increase some of the congestion to the area. Thus the need for us to really early on begin working with partners around Highway 50, Kale Drive, as we discussed also in the past. Barton Health does feel that a microtransit system will be important for the region. In fact, obviously, we're one of the contributing partners to get this funded and make this move forward for our community. We do think that there'll be benefits not just for our patients, which are local, and our employees, which are in and around the region, but also for the tourists that we also see and care for. They're used to different transportation systems. We do provide them care as well, and expediting their transportation to our facilities, I think, would be of great benefit to them while they're here as well. So we hope that in the future that Douglas County will, in fact, help fund this measure in the future, and really look forward to its growth as a bi-state opportunity, because we do see it as a bi-state responsibility. With that, I just want to thank you for your time, and if you have questions, happy to address them.
You can ask one quick question, please.
What do you think is more pressing at this point for this year? I understand this is an important, the transit is very important for this community, but is the renovation and repair of Kale Road more important at this point, or the transit system?
You know, that's a great question. If you were to talk to residents down Kale Road, I'm sure Kale Road residents would tell you Kale Road. And so, but with our property across the street, the lakeside, we plan on partnering and helping in that Kale Road vision for the future. And so I don't know that I have a priority on either one today, other than we want to be good partners in both of those opportunities and see them move forward for the community.
That's wonderful. We can count on your contribution to help repair that road. Is that correct?
Let me clarify that for the record. No, pleasure. Commissioner Tarkanian, appreciate the question. Thank you for the time today.
Thank you, Mr. Prevents. I have a feeling we're going to be playing a lot of musical chairs today.
Hi, I'm Sarah Monson, and I live in Nevada County. I'm the executive director with the Truckee North Tahoe Transportation Management Association. I've worked closely on the TART Connect microtransit pilot program that started in North Lake Tahoe in June of 2021. Since the inception of this program, which is also operated by the Downtowner, there have been 199,249 TART Connect riders. The popularity of the North Shore pilot program has shown the importance for microtransit for our lakeside communities. It offers that first mile, last mile connection that we desperately need. In addition to providing a valuable service to both residents and locals, microtransit is important for reducing vehicle miles traveled, helping to reduce traffic, freeing up parking, and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. I urge Douglas County to support this amazing opportunity to bring microtransit to South Lake Tahoe. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's the perfect example of not needing to use all 3 minutes of your time if you don't see a need and fit to do so, okay? So.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Nick Haven. I represent the Tahoe Regional Planning Agency today. I reside in El Dorado County and work in Douglas County, right here up the hill. Wanted to thank you all for having this discussion today. This service is a really important part of how we improve mobility in Douglas County and the South Shore. It is a critical service to help meet our transportation goals. TRPA is responsible for preparing a regional transportation plan that knits the services like these together and makes it work. And as you heard from the North Shore service, we see this microtransit service as a great opportunity to move the residents, the workforce, and the visitor in Douglas County and the South Shore and getting them where they need to go. It's a catalyst project. As you heard, there is a lot going on right now in the South Shore, and this type of improvement is necessary to combat the congestion we're seeing at peak times, to reduce some of the environmental impacts, as well as just quality of life and giving people options to get around. TRPA is proud to be a partner in this project as well. Based on the successes we've seen in the North Shore, actual operational successes for those services, we have actually approved the contribution on an ongoing basis of mitigation funds to this service to help meet TRPA environmental thresholds and provide a valuable service to the community. And so looking at the broad-based support I'm seeing in this room, it tells me a couple things. It says, one, there's a need for this service. And two, there's a commitment to the success of this service. Because as you heard, this is a pilot, and we fully anticipate continuing this type of service on. So thank you for your support for this project, and we look forward to the continuing partnership with Douglas County. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Mr. Chairman. I'm Carl Hasty. I'm the District Manager for the Tahoe Transportation District. We're a special bi-state district here focused on transportation solutions. And we are here in Douglas County. Our office is in Douglas County. We have a board of 14, of which Douglas County sits on, along with all the other local jurisdictions, as does the private sector, the 2 state DOTs, and several governor appointees. Our board today has shown support for this service by entering into agreement and extending TTD's operating authority to this service as part of the public transit network. We are looking forward to working with the Downtowner and the Visitors Authority. We believe that the microtransit will complement our fixed route service because we provide fixed route and paratransit service to the area. We also connect the South Shore area with Minden-Gardnerville and Carson City. We also believe that this service will help advance the goals of the Regional Transportation Program. The funding that's coming together makes a significant contribution to the sector goals that have been targeted here for the region. And lastly, we are going to look forward to working with them in order to increase transit ridership because we've got a number of different facets of the public, and microtransit tends to serve a facet that fixed route cannot. So I thank you for your time and attention on this.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for your time. My name is Zinni Wunderlich. I am the Vice President of Casino Operations and Casino Marketing for Harrah's and Harvey's Lake Tahoe. I'm also a native Nevadan and a resident of Douglas County, and I have resided in Genoa for 19 years. So I love this place. I also have 2 horses and I trail ride, so the environment is very, very important to me. Just thought I'd add that. Our company strongly supports the expansion of transit options for our visitors, for our locals, and for our employees. We are pleased to partner with the broader community to implement transit solutions that will reduce traffic, improve air quality, and make getting in and out of the core a better experience. We're also impressed with the breadth of the stakeholder support of micro transit, including healthcare, the college, local government, private business, environmental and regulatory agencies, and a Chamber of Commerce and our marketing partners. It's really kind of unprecedented to see all these different agencies come together in support of something like this. With respect, we urge Douglas County to commit 0.5% of the TOT mandated for transportation projects at the lake to match $600,000 already committed by the broader South Shore community. Thank you for conducting these workshops, and thank you for your time.
Good afternoon. Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, thank you for coming up to the lake. It's great to see you up here. My name is Yale Rowe. I serve as the president and general manager of the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Lake Tahoe. I'm a resident of Douglas County. We have over 350 team members, and everyone's very anxious for the arrival of the event center early next year. As we think about that project, we're also excited to participate and support the rollout of the micro transit solution in South Shore that would start this summer. At its core, we see the micro transit platform as a significant opportunity to assist our workforce and our guests with free and frequent transportation. I don't have to explain to anybody the cost of gas and the challenges that some of our frontline team members face with that every day. Additionally, one of our long-standing mottos at the Hard Rock is save the planet. And reducing traffic through this microtransit solution is certainly an initiative we support. On a side note, Mr. Feldman mentioned Park City or Summit County in Utah. I'm a part-time resident there, and they have an incredible free public transit system. Years in the making, and we should aspire to get there one day, but I couldn't imagine the congestion that would be in that market without that type of system in place. It's pretty fascinating, and all the residents and tourists that I speak to up there use it very, very frequently. It's very popular. That's it from my side in the Hard Rock. And if you haven't already, and I know Mr. Feldman also mentioned this, but you should certainly schedule a tour to see the event center. It's pretty spectacular. We're all excited. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chairman Gardner and Commissioners. My name is Darcy Collins, and I'm the CEO of Keep Tahoe Blue. We are a lake-wide organization, but we have many members that reside in Douglas County, so we represent them all. I'm excited to be in front of you talking about transportation in Tahoe, a conversation that we've had for years, and we're starting to make a lot of progress. As a national treasure and popular year-round tourist destination, Lake Tahoe has experienced a growing amount of traffic, which I know we've all experienced, over the past 6 decades with limited implementation of state-of-the-art transit solutions to alleviate congestion. You have heard from Mr. Feldman and others that new technology, services, and models implemented in other resort communities and the success of microtransit on the North Shore demonstrate that more opportunity exists now than ever to implement innovative solutions to address our transportation challenges. And in fact, those solutions are the norm in other resort communities. The League to Save Lake Tahoe first brought the microtransit concept to Tahoe in 2018 as a pilot, and we fully funded that service for that year, for those couple of months on the South Shore. We learned a lot of lessons from that opportunity, which we are incorporating into these new pilots. And we have been a champion of this type of transit service ever since. And more recently, promoting and helping to fund the North Shore service, which you heard about already. We are also one of the 20-plus partners that have come together to fund the South Shore service. Funding transit service is not a usual role for a nonprofit such as ours, which usually focuses on the environment, and there are, of course, significant environmental benefits that will result from providing more transportation options. But equally as important, we see the need, and our whole community needs, to come together to be part of the solution. The South Shore Microtransit Service has the potential to be a catalyst for positive change throughout the entire south side of the lake and reduce congestion and reliance on the private automobile. Microtransit will build momentum and open the opportunity for other transit and mobility improvements and a more comprehensive transit system. And to Commissioner Ingalls' important question earlier about who knows about this service and this pilot project, those of us obviously in the room are supportive and aware, but the idea is that this first year, this pilot year, will bring publicity, marketing, and opportunity for us to really get out there and inform everyone about this exciting opportunity. So hopefully by this time next year, Commissioner, everyone will know what the service is. Thank you all so much for your time and leadership, and we look forward to your support.
Hi, my name's Marion Tilley. I do live at the lake. I still read the newspaper, the Tahoe Daily Tribune, and that's where I learned about this meeting and about the transit, new transit. I think there were opportunities to learn about it, especially if you were reading about the new, I keep calling it a convention center. So I think there were opportunities to learn. You just had to look for it. So Mr. Engel, I live here, I live in Zephyr Heights, and I've been here for 20 years. One thing I wanted to say, every time you read the paper or talk to people, low-income housing, I hear nothing here except that the rides are free, which I think is wonderful. But I'm wondering if any of the rides would include grocery stores. The Safeway's just up the road, about a mile and a half. I wondered if the rides are just for people using Hard Rock or the convention center or the casino corridor. The routes, I think that was in the paper, but went in one brain and out the other. I live in Zephyr Heights, which is up 50 here. And I travel to Safeway frequently, and I travel to this area frequently in Kingsbury. And people are walking along the road. They are carrying their groceries. They're carrying where they had to walk that. I know there are rides in town. I'm not sure how many are free. And so it's very dangerous for us, the drivers, to watch for these people, also for the people themselves, especially since black hoodies are in such vogue. I think I like the idea of the transit. I've liked it since I heard it, but those were my questions. There's a danger to the walkers that go along 50. I wonder if they're going to be able to go to the grocery store. Housing, nothing about that with all this thing on the corner. Not the convention center, but the thing you mentioned would be where the Wells Fargo Bank was. If it has anything for the low-income folks. So that's mainly my concern. It sounds like a good idea. The smaller buses are a good idea. They're going to be limber, going up and down. So anyway, and I do thank you for having the meeting up here at the lake. It's helpful to those of us who live here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Jerry Bindell. I'm an El Dorado County resident, and I'm also the current chairman of the South Tahoe Tourism Improvement District, which represents all lodging properties on the California side of South Lake Tahoe. First of all, the last speaker brought up some great points. I believe that for the future of the service, after the start period, the expansion possibilities of this service are amazing. Going to grocery stores, allowing for better pedestrian crossing. That's all wonderful, wonderful ideas for the future of the service after we get this starting program off the ground. As I mentioned, I represent the California side, all the lodging properties, and as Mr. Fellman said, those properties have guests that come and hopefully leave with just a little lighter wallets after visiting the state-line casinos. These shuttles will get them to these casinos. The casinos are going to be doing paid parking. The shuttles are free. There'll be some great visitation from our California guests to this. We believe in this service, our district does, so much so that we have committed until 2029 the tune of $25,000 a year for this service, just to know how important it is to our constituents. We've seen in other markets, including North Lake Tahoe, that visitors and locals both embrace alternative modes of transportation, and they're easy to use, and they're on demand, such as this program. This program is good for both business and the environment, and we encourage the board, the county commissioners, to fund 0.5% so that it can be spent at the lake for transportation. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. My name is Michael Glover. I'm the President and CEO of the Tahoe Chamber. I would just like to state that I am a resident of Douglas County. The Chair, the Board of Directors, and most of the members of the Chamber that I am in contact with fully support the microtransit system. In fact, every single one of the funding partners up there is a Chamber member. We think this is an incredible bi-state partnership, so obviously we support that because we are a bi-state chamber. But beyond that, it's also a tremendous public-private collaboration. That's the kind of thing we like to see from an economic development standpoint. And we think it's not only going to benefit tourists and visitors alike, but we actually think it's going to trickle down and benefit pretty much the majority of our members, and that's what we're all about. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll be right upstairs. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon, Chairman Gardner and Commissioners. My name is Joe Irvin. I'm a resident of the City of South Lake Tahoe in El Dorado County, as well as the city manager for the City of South Lake Tahoe. I really, first of all, would like to start off with praising you for your work on the event center. I truly believe that's a game changer in the South Shore region. We're excited to see that come online and activate the core of the South Shore. I also want you to know that the City of South Lake Tahoe supports the microtransit proposal. We've signed a funding agreement with the South Shore TMA to the tune of $150,000. We believe in it. We believe many residents and visitors will use it. Many of those residents live in the City of South Lake Tahoe and need that commute to casinos and the tourism industry in Douglas County. TTD offers those services. The microtransit offers more flexibility to accommodate different work schedules, getting people to and from work. The city is also currently engaged in a transit study where we are evaluating microtransit along with the fixed route service that TTD offers to better align what those services are to serve the South Shore public and visitors in a better capacity. I wholeheartedly believe that that study will show that we need greater investment from the city longer term. We're going to coordinate with TTD. My hope is we coordinate and partner with Douglas County to make this microtransit the best that it can be for South Shore visitors and residents. Finally, and I'll be happy to answer any questions, Commissioner, if that's fine. We urge you to support this financial ask. The public-private partnerships that Mike Glover from the Tahoe Chamber just mentioned is outstanding, and that is something that I believe, pushed the city council over the line to invest in this, because it takes all of us, public and private partners, to invest in our infrastructure and transit accommodations. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
How did you come about a 12 to 13% contribution level for South Lake Tahoe, considering the comments that you're making today about how important this is for your community?
We were approached by the South Shore Transportation Management Association to be an investment partner. They came to the table telling us the portfolio that they've put together, made up of public and private partners, and the request they asked of us is the request we brought to the council to support.
The only reason why I ask is you're asking Douglas County to pay for half of it, and you guys are paying for 12% of it, approximately. So I just wanted to see how those numbers came out. Thank you.
If I may follow up to that, as I said, our transit study does anticipate future growth. This is a system that I anticipate will go far to the Y and the rest of the city limits, which will likely require an investment much larger than what the half portion is now. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I will follow up with our city manager. My name is Devin Middlebrook. I'm the mayor for the city of South Lake Tahoe. And when obviously a resident there, but when I'm not playing mayor, my day job is based in Douglas County. I won't touch on, be too repetitive, but just wanted to really highlight the importance of this for the community. As we've seen with all of the challenges we face from housing, environment, transportation, it really does go beyond just the imaginary lines we have drawn on the map in the Tahoe region. And we really need to work together to solve those challenges collaboratively. We saw that with the Caldor fire when the casinos were the head base of our emergency operations center. Those imaginary lines, again, on those maps really melted away, and it was really one community stepping up and supporting each other, and this is one of those big pieces as well. Much of the workforce for the casinos and the Nevada side resides in California, and as our city manager said, our city is already looking at expanding this service in future years and increasing our contribution. So thank you for considering this, and we really do urge you to support it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Stephen Kirkpatrick. I'm the Heavenly Base Operations Manager for Heavenly Mountain Ski Resort. I am also a Douglas County resident who lives in District 1. My family also owns and operates a business in District 2, as well as another business in South Lake Tahoe in El Dorado County here. Heavenly will be also one of the partners that has been mentioned that will also be helping support this program through our transportation budget. The benefits of this program for Douglas County, we've all heard them. We all know what they are, between less vehicles on the road, less pollution, less traffic, less wear. We are optimistic and looking forward to working with the SSTMA to utilize their program, which will help complement our transportation operations and help move the city's guests, the county's guests, all over as needed. Employers in Douglas County should be excited about the fact that we will have yet another option to get our employees to and from work and just really positively impact their lives for those that work in Douglas County. And it'll also help those Douglas County residents that utilize that Route 19. It gives them an option to maybe run errands, do other things around the town before they get home. Looking really forward to the opportunity for the entertainment and just the jobs that are coming, with the event center. Looking forward to watching sporting events, concerts, things of that nature. And someone who works in South Lake Tahoe and then commutes through the corridor every day, I'm very excited about the idea of cutting down that commute, just getting through that corridor, which, as for most of us have witnessed it, can sometimes take quite a time to get through that area. Just please remember, this is the beginning of the program. With your support, we can grow this into a great program, branch out into areas, and help support more people throughout Douglas and El Dorado County alike. Thank you again for your support for this program, as it is the right thing to do for the people and for the environment. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
My name is Kirk Walder. I live in Zephyr Cove, and while I'm a member of the Planning Commission, I'm not speaking on behalf of that group, but giving my personal views. Thank you, Chairman Gardner and members of the board, for coming to Tahoe to review the important matter on today's agenda. Thank you also to the staff for your efforts to host and participate in this meeting. Tahoe Township provides tens of millions of county revenue, much of which is sent to the valley, but a significant share of the revenue needs to stay in Tahoe. That's why Resolution 2020R-037 allocated 1/2 of the TLRT for microtransit. Transportation is a key to the continued economic prosperity of the Douglas County portion of Tahoe. With the event center well on the way to opening, it is essential that a microtransit system start operations in the near future. Microtransit has been an effective option in a number of locations, including North Lake Tahoe. It provides an efficient option for both tourists and residents. The recent action by the City of South Lake Tahoe makes the microtransit option all the more important. South Lake Tahoe has effectively rejected the most viable modification to improve vehicle and pedestrian traffic in the 2 miles that could be called downtown South Lake Tahoe. This includes Douglas County from the event center south to the state border. Their rejection of the Loop Road proposal also puts a roadblock in plans for the conversion of Route 50 into a main street in State Line. Again, transportation is critical to continued prosperity for Tahoe and Douglas County. I urge your support for the microtransit program and for the future transportation needs of Tahoe. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, Commissioners and Chair Gardner. Good to see you. My name is John Packer. I've been a resident of Douglas County, a homeowner and a taxpayer and a voter for just about 50 years now. Also, my family came to Douglas County and Tahoe Township every summer and most winters since 1951. Clearly, at least that's what I remember, clearly enormous changes have occurred over the past 70 years, but one thing that has stayed the same is the lack of public transit, or decent public transit. A little anecdote, my son's business partner took his family to Park City about 2 years ago for a ski week. Once they parked their car at their hotel, they never drove it again for 5 days. They went everywhere in that area and used microtransit. It was convenient, it was fast, it was timely. And they also noticed that a number of employees, because they had their name tags and so on, also used it. So it's great for, excuse me, both employees and the visitors. That said, I just urge you to the Commission to vote for this initial funding for this critical service. Anybody who's been here for a while has seen how bad the congestion can get, and I know a lot of people who'd love to go to Emerald Bay just don't go anymore. It's pointless during the summer, and because there's too many cars, and a lot of those cars just have like 2 people in them. And so this is a start. You know, this isn't the end-all, be-all, but it's certainly a great start to get this going and get it growing in Douglas County and Tahoe Township. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon, Chairman and Board. My name is Siobhan Fahayan. I'm Director of Marketing and Sales with Edgewood Tahoe Resort. Edgewood is a STAR member and definitely supports the year-round MTS located in Douglas County. We do feel this is a vital initiative for our destination to move us forward. Even in our small resort, we've tried to do our share, and we have a high usage of our own complimentary Sprinter shuttles that go a 5-mile radius from the resort for our lodge guests. We need this visitor amenity to continue attracting guests to our beautiful destination while being responsible and sustainable in our growth efforts. So we appreciate your time and consideration. Thank you.
Hello, Commissioners and Chairman. Hi, my name is Lisa Hochholt. I live in Douglas County, just up the road, 3 miles. I've been a long-term public transportation user. I love it, but there are things that don't go well with it. So one of my biggest concerns here, oh, and by the way, I'm recently aware of this micro-transportation thing. I apologize if I've been otherwise engaged and not up on all the things, but I can say I do know people who have not heard about this. It seems to me that there's a lot of businesses and government entities that are fully aware of what's going on, but I want to put a plug in for hopefully soon you maybe do a little bit more outreach for residents so that they know what the services are. Maybe you can put some planning maps, parking, costs of parking, things like that, just so you and we all can be assured that local residents know what's going on and how the service can benefit them, especially people who aren't currently employed, just regular people who live up here, such as myself. I would like to use it if it's convenient and it works for me. So let's see. Oh, one of my biggest concerns as a resident here is lack of access and parking to a lot of the public spaces, meaning beaches. And I mean, if you're from here, you know where all those places are. When you drive up and down Highway 50, people are parking off the highway, blocking. There's a lot of road rage that goes on with parking. You mentioned Emerald Bay. Oh my gosh, I saw really bad road rage there once just over a parking space that involved me, as a matter of fact. And I wouldn't go again because you have to wait hours to park there. There aren't facilities and things like that. Public transportation to beaches and other public spaces is really, really important for the tourists and the locals as well. We like to use these places. They're not accessible. We don't go to the beaches a lot, especially in the summertime, because there is absolutely no place to go. If there's public transportation, absolutely, I would use it for sure. It would be nice for people to know if bikes are allowed, skis, groceries, you know, all those bundles that people take to beaches and the public spaces, shopping bags for when they spend their dollars. So please do your best to let residents know the details of this, what sounds to be a really wonderful project for this area. Thank you for your time.
Chairman, can I make a public comment?
Are you a member of the public?
Sometimes I wonder. Dan Carverly, Douglas County Sheriff. I'm in support of any projects like this that reduce the number of vehicles on the roadway from a public safety standpoint. I think whatever we can do to reduce the congestion and make it safer for both the motorists and then anybody, pedestrians and bicycle traffic is a huge benefit. The parking is a mess, as everyone knows, especially in the summertime. It would be nice to see this expanded to include Zephyr Cove. Obviously, that's a big issue on a holiday weekend and weekends. But very much in support of this project or similar projects to this. Anything that can reduce the number of vehicles traveling kind of needlessly along the road makes it safer for everyone, including emergency vehicles to get to where they need to be and that kind of thing. So just wanted to say I support this. I think it's a good idea.
Awesome. Glad I was able to sit here and be the face of that comment.
This is the time you want to visit with him, not
after. Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
when he has, yeah.
So, Chairman, fellow commissioners, Todd Poth, Douglas County resident for now almost 20 years. I must have moved here when I was 5. I always think of a phrase I heard, and it kind of applies to the last 2 years. Business and enterprise can survive in any environment except uncertainty. The last 2 years have been the definition of uncertainty. I've come in front of this commission several times, and I used to say business owner. I'm no longer a business owner because of that uncertainty. To change the rules or the plan partway through a process puts uncertainty into the situation. This 0.5% was agreed upon for the microtransit. It kind of been decided on. Everyone kind of made plans on it. Businesses, different things had happened across the board, and now we seem to have a little bit of a doubt whether that's going to be actually committed to by the county. That's frustrating. A lot of people made a lot of plans, a lot of ideas to get this to move forward. I know there's other funding out there. You've got the American Rescue Plan was put in to Douglas County. You got a lot of money sitting there that could be used. Rather than taking the TOT, I'd like to see that happen. But overall, don't change plans on people halfway through. People have made ideas what they want to do. They want to move forward. This is going to be a game changer for the county, for the area across in California, this entire area. This is a transformative project. Let's do everything we can to make it successful. Thank you.
I agree completely that you need to have certainty. The agreement talks about the TOT tax. It doesn't talk about ARPA funds. ARPA funds are limited. So even if we applied it for 1 year, which we don't have.
I don't want ARPA for that. I want ARPA for the Kale Drive project. You made it seem like a zero-sum game project.
Okay. So the ARPA funds are a one-time project, and there's a lot of demand for it across the board. And this says up to 1% too. So that we want to have certainty. Listen, I'm for the project. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea, okay? I don't want to be tarred and feathered when I go out of this room. No, it's a great project. But, we as commissioners have to make the best decisions with whatever financial resources we have in a community that's not going to agree with raising taxes. So that's where we're weighing out. We're going to get it done. We're just got to figure out the right way to do it, including Kell Road.
I want to be careful that we don't interrupt public comment, though, also by a back and forth exchange. So.
Sorry, I'm writing stuff. Good afternoon, Chairman Gardner and the board. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Carol Chaplin. I am curiously, the president and CEO of both the LTVA, Lake Tahoe Visitors Authority, and the Tahoe Douglas Visitors Authority. I am a Douglas County resident since 1998. And as far as I can tell right now, As far as stakeholders and speakers today who knew about this project and have invested in it, I have 13 Douglas County residents and 18 speakers. But I'm not good at scores in a basketball game, so you might want to double check that. Both the Lake Tahoe Visitors Authority and the Tahoe Douglas Visitors Authority are financial partners in this early rollout of microtransit. Success in other venues demonstrates high probability of success on the South Shore, particularly because of the overwhelming support by public and private partners. And you heard from our partner on the North Shore, Sarah, who's been absolutely wonderful in helping us guide us through the process and what her success is on North Shore. The services is designed to complement the existing fixed route services as well as the Heavenly Winter Shuttle. The service will reduce congestion year-round and will advance the Tahoe Transportation District's roles, advance TRPA's environmental thresholds, as well as the community's shared vision for enhanced mobility and reduced traffic. The $4 ticket charge will complement the amassed funding and provide an opportunity to expand the service areas in the future, and the $4 ticket charges from the event center when it opens. In closing, I'd just like to mention, I'd like to call out the South Shore Transportation Management Association's hard work on this project. As one of its board members, I'm so impressed with the level of collaboration and commitment by the board that has brought us to the potential of launching the service this summer instead of next. And we hope that Douglas County joins us in what we believe will be transformational. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mickey Hempler, speaking as an individual. I think I have more questions than answers from the presentation we saw today. And I probably can't get through them all because I'll put them in a letter to all of you. But the 1/2 of 1%, is that in perpetuity? Is there a website that you can go to for frequently asked questions? As a Douglas County resident for 45 plus years, it's curious to me that this transit idea, which I think is fantastic, if we could get from A to Z in 1 year would be fabulous, but obviously we can't do that financially. It doesn't seem to include a lot of the Nevada side with the beginning, and I don't know, there's a little fairness issue there that kind of eats at the back of my brain. But I'm not saying I don't love the plan. I love the idea of it. One thing that hasn't been mentioned is we all have to get in our cars every day to go to the post office. I'm glad that somebody brought up the beach issue, because that's a huge issue of getting people, both residents and visitors, to the beach. Parking, huge issue. If this plan moves along and we get to like Round Hill, is there going to be parking for someone like myself that lives in Zephyr Cove, where I go to Round Hill and I can pick up this bus and get to the corridor or go to a concert? If your location, okay. There's just a little parity problem I'm having. And where is this money usually spent if we have 1% that goes to the transportation up here at the lake? Where do they spend it every year? So what is being taken away from that this year if we're going to put this into effect? And Commissioner Ingalls, I think there is a general apathy up here towards things that are going on. There's a lot of second homeowners that don't pay attention. I'm just one of the oddballs that does. Other than that, the whole idea is great. I just would like to see more answers, and I'd like to know where I could go to get them. Thank you.
I got one of your answers. It says, as long as the event center is operational, this transit funding commitment shall be irrevocable. So it will continue while the event center is still operational.
And they hope that's in perpetuity, right? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chairman Gardner, members of the County Commission. My name is Steve Teixeira, longtime resident and business owner headquartered here in Douglas County. I'm also very honored to be the chair of the South Shore Transportation Management Association. Also, back in the mid-90s, working for what was then known as the Lake Tahoe Gaming Alliance, now known as STAR, we were proud to work with Douglas County to put in the 1% TOT money that goes for the Tahoe Douglas Transportation District. And over the years, that money has been spent for various things, including paying off the bonds of the parking garage here, also for snow removal, some road work on the small number of miles that Douglas County operates here, and some other expenses. A couple of things about, what's been exciting about this presentation today and the public comments is that people want the service. So for a mere full percent of the TOT, we could go to Round Hill, and we could go to Zephyr Heights, and we could even go to Glenbrook, if anybody wanted to come down here. But the point is that this is a great investment. This is what the money is used for, should be used for. This is what it was earmarked for in the legislation in Nevada, NRS. Great ideas today about letting folks know about it. There is maybe I could be the first one to announce. We had to come up with a name, we had to come up with a logo, we have to come up with marketing materials. Those are all about to roll out. So the name of the service is Lake Link, and you'll be hearing a lot more about it. And if you want to know more about the South Shore TMA, which is an 11-member board of all volunteers, you can go to ss-tma.org. It's a great website. It's for more than just the microtransit. So I'm here today to urge you to take positive action on the request. And if you're so inclined to spend more than just the 0.5%, that would allow us to immediately expand the service in Douglas County. Thank you.
Is there any additional public comment here in chambers?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and distinguished commissioners. My name is Janet Murphy for the record, and I'm third generation here. And nothing is for free. It's not free. That's why we're here talking about money today, so it's not free. Secondly, I just want to make sure that if you go through with this venture, which obviously it sounds like you already had a pledge, that you're mindful and prudent on how much you decide to pledge to this venture. I always like to compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges. So whatever you do whatever is done on the California side, whatever that percentage is the percentage that you go ahead with. I like to make sure everything is equitable and balanced. Thank you.
Members of the Commission, Chairman, thank you for taking public comment. My name is Bob Hassett. I'm the operator of Round Hill Pines Beach Resort, as well as a resident in Douglas County. First, I'd like to say I believe we really need transit up here at the lake. In 2018, we teamed up with the League, and we helped to fund the Chariot microtransit system. At that time, we learned that, unfortunately, it wasn't the right system for us. But we did learn some lessons, which when I saw the Sundowner come out, I thought, much better, we have something here that can work. We believe we need to get people off the streets, as you've heard from many people today, and we need access to some of the local places. The beaches came up a couple times. We'd love to get people down to Round Hill. As you know, Round Hill is it's a locals beach. You come down there on any day, and the majority of our guests are local people. If we can get them down there, get them out of their cars and still get them to the beaches, it would be wonderful. We're committed to microtransit. we will help fund microtransit, and we hope that you will as well support this system so we can make it the best it can be and give it a true test. Or not a test, so we can see that it's going to work, because I do believe it is. I wouldn't be funding it ourselves. We've funded the Lake Tahoe, the South Shore water taxi for over 18 years out of our own pocket. We would love to see the support from Douglas County to support your residents as well as our visitors to get them around more easily. Thank you.
Is there additional public comment here in chambers? If not, then Ms. Johnson, is there any public comment online?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Marsha Johnson for the record. We do have some people online who have indicated they would like to provide public comment. Antonio, do you have public comment on this item?
Yes, I do. Thank you. My name is Antonio Benitez, and I'm a member of the Leadership Lake Tahoe class of 2021 and 2022. I'm a resident of the El Dorado County side, and for the last 10 years, I'm sure as you many have seen, the traffic has only increased over time. And although I am excited about the event center, it does make me nervous when I start thinking about the amount of traffic that's going to potentially add to our area. We've seen it particularly in summer. We saw this last winter with the near gridlock and what that meant for not just for local residents, but also for our visitors as well. So I'm here today to ask the Douglas County Commissioners to please join the growing list of funding partners for this new South Shore microtransit service and help alleviate some of that traffic in our localities. Thank you.
Natalie, do you have public comment on this item?
Hello, my name is Natalie Yanish. I am on the board of the Kingsbury General Improvement District. I've been on there for almost 12 years now. I wanted to say that I am in support of microtransit. I can tell you I will echo some of the comments that everyone else has said, but we'll keep it short for Chairman Gardner. So I do ride public transit, and I do drive around the lake, both on the California side and the Nevada side, quite often. And I do agree with Sheriff Pepperly that this would probably be at least the start of a solution for some of the health and safety issues that we have going on our roads. I see people hitchhiking. I see, and this is workers and visitors alike, because they can't get to places that they need to go. Also, when I do ride on the transit service, oftentimes people will try to get on the bus thinking they can go somewhere. And often I will hear, oh, we don't service that area, or we can't go there. So it's, quality of life for residents as well as the visitor experience that we have here. And I think it would mitigate issues. Thank you for listening to my comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Marsha Johnson for the record. At this time, there's no further public comment online.
Okay, so at this time, I have some questions, and Mr. Feldman, if I could indulge you, please, because most of these are going to be back to the presentation that you had, and some expressing some of my concerns and observations. I do understand our legal obligation under 2020 R-037 of up to 0.5% of the TOT tax generated here in the Tahoe Township to go to microtransit. So I don't know that it's a question of if we're committed. I believe we are committed as a board. The question really comes down to when we're committed and to what extent we're committed of that 0.5%. I do have to question, I'm concerned about competing with private enterprise, those entities, taxis, Uber and Lyft and all those others that are in business trying to make a living also in our township, and the possibility of them basically going out of business for lack of a better term. You indicated El Dorado County is involved, but they're not part of this, but yes, they are, because South Lake Tahoe is a part of El Dorado County, right? So I had that question. The real question that I've heard from our residents in the county is not whether or not we need it, but the concerns of disproportionate in regards to funding. And you and I met a month or so ago when we talked about even setting up this meeting. And at that time, you had indicated that this initial service would go up to Round Hill. And now I look at this map, and it extends about a half a mile into our county, which is extremely troubling to me because I don't see truly, this doesn't even reach into our residential neighborhoods of Douglas County. So I don't see how our residents are going to participate in this type of service other than having to get in their cars from Glenbrook, from Zephyr Cove, Round Hill even, and drive down into the area and then pick up the microtransit. So those are some concerns, and those are the people that we have a responsibility to work for. We're elected by the residents of Douglas County, and if we're not providing them a service here, and yet we're spending up to $500,000 or more on this, that aspect of the program troubles me. We're not really extending a service to the members of our public in Douglas County. So those are my concerns. We saw a presentation here also today that talked about condos that are going in or anticipated to go in. Let me see if I can find it. Going in across the street, directly across the street from the event center. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and how many condos are they proposing there?
40.
40. This board gets beat up almost on a regular basis about affordable workforce housing. What do you have any idea how many dollars these 40 are going to be marketed for? In other words, does this address our affordable workforce housing issue in the Tahoe Township?
It's a market rate project.
Yeah. See, so that's the problem, and that we always get as a board is you need to create affordable workforce housing, but that's not our business. Our business is trying to operate the county with the dollars we have available to operate it to the benefit of our residents, and it's up to the builders to determine whether or not they can put in affordable marketing, affordable workforce housing. So here we're taking a prime piece of property, and I like the idea, by the way. It looks a very nice project, and it would be certainly much better than the vacant building we have now at Wells Fargo. But once again, I think our residents are asking, how are you helping us out? And I don't see how we're helping them out here. So those are my comments. And once again, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when, and a question of how much. And to my mind, it just seems to be disproportionate to our residents to have service from state line up to the event center, which is 200 yards, walkable distance, certainly, almost 365 days of the year. So I'm anxious to hear what any other commissioners might have to say about this.
If I may, Mr. Chair, and you accurately recounted our prior conversation, I share your concern. I certainly think that we have an opportunity to provide much broader service within the Douglas County portion of the lake, and we should. It's a timing question, so we have to start someplace, and I think it's important because we've come so far to see where we started. And where we started was simply as a mitigation measure for new trips generated by the event center. And it's a much bigger story than that today. This is a transformative opportunity to change the way people navigate at South Shore. And we need to grow the system. And while I do absolutely understand and agree that the resolution that you folks approved says that you're committing up to 0.5% to fund microtransit, and so long as the event center is in operation, you're not prohibited from funding more than 0.5%. And that 1% is available for transit. And that's an easy way to grow the system. And there has been, for the most part, fairly modest expenditures from the 1% going to the TD, half of which had been captured by the bond for the parking structure, which has been retired. So in the scheme of struggles economically, we're blessed. We actually have a revenue source that is much greater than we had anticipated and gives you flexibility that we didn't foresee.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Please.
Would you be amenable to changing this service area to be commensurate on both sides of the California state line? In other words, if we're going to give you $500,000, I just think our services should be much greater to our residents than, and perhaps less service to South Lake Tahoe.
Well, I don't see it as a competition. I see it as a community, and I think we can grow this together. You have a commissioner who's very anxious to
Commissioner Tarkanian.
Made a comment, and listen, we all have sat here, we agree that this needs to be done. But we're sitting here as a county commission, as a Douglas County, and the resident, and we represent the residents of Douglas County and their taxpayer money. And the TOT is their taxpayer money. It's where it's going to go. It comes in from the transit stuff, but it's the money that could be used. You shake your head, Kirk. You're on the planning commission. It could be used for roads here and other things here that would be done for the taxpayers here. Look, we want to reach a solution where this works. But when you sit here, and I didn't even know all the boundaries. I thought it went 2 miles. In fact, when we talked, you said it was 2 miles. Now we're hearing it only goes to the event center, but we're going to pay half of the money. But El Dorado County's paying $200,000, South Lake Tahoe $150,000. They're paying about half of what we're paying, and they're going to get 7 miles of service, and we're going to get what you said, 200 yards. I mean, I'm going to end on this because I'm not going to prolong it because we're not making a decision yet. We're going to take in a lot of consideration. But I'm going to tell you, the ARPA money, there's a demand for that across the board. And there are people in my district that want to use that money. So you can't just say, hey, listen, we're going to ignore Kyle Road and not use ARPA money for that because we're going to pay for such a huge percent of this if we're not getting the same benefits, or at least close to the same benefits. I understand, one, we're bringing people to the event center, so we're going to get taxes and revenue from some of that. So it doesn't have to be exactly equal. But when you start talking about the disparity compared to where it's servicing, it's really huge. And I look forward to having a much more lengthy discussion on this to make sure it's more equitable. We need to get it done. We're going to work as a county commission to get it done, but we're not going to get the short end of this deal and have to explain to our taxpayers we're going to supplement California taxes.
No, and I respect that, and certainly I've been a Douglas County resident for many decades. I would love to see broader service and expect to see broader service in Douglas County. We pull the trigger on this, we're going to grow this system. I think this is a fabulous conversation. We're going to continue it whenever we resume. But I also think it's important to recognize, because I was in the trenches when this unfolded. And when this unfolded, there was no expectation of this kind of broader support. I couldn't in my wildest dreams have imagined that I'd be sitting before you saying, there's $600,000 in this room that's not Douglas County's. Wow. How do we lever that? How do we get the county to step up and just grow this system? This is an amazing opportunity. So I think we're on the same team.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Rice.
I have been a fan of this program since before I was ever elected to this seat. And I would assume that that's part of the reason why I originally got elected to this seat. This is something that has been needed for years. I've lived here 31 years, and I've seen the traffic go from tolerable to "are you kidding me?" I have kids that live in South Lake Tahoe, out in the Myers region, and there have been times when it has taken them an hour and 45 minutes just to go from the high school to their house. That's a problem. I see this project as a start. It's not where it's going. It's a start, and it's going to go from there. I truly believe that we have to take the first step. I believe that Douglas County, whether or not we're paying half as much as anybody else or twice as much as anybody else, Douglas County is going to be the recipient of the benefits of this program. I can envision the day when people down in Minden can park their car at the senior and event center down there and get a free bus ride all the way to let's put it up at our most famous sites that we have here at the lake, and go to a certain bay overlooking a certain tea house out in the middle of the friggin' lake, and do that for free without blocking all the traffic. This is a start. This is a first step. And Douglas County, long ago, committed itself to this first step. And I think quibbling about who's paying what is not in the interest of the project. I know that it will all come out in the wash. I know that things will equalize. I know that the residents of Douglas County at the lake as well as in the valley are going to gain from this project. Not next week, not next month, maybe not next year, maybe not my lifetime, but it's going to expand. And this is one of the things that have been needed for many, many years. Thank you. Oh, and by the way, it's so nice to be at a commission meeting with so many friendly faces. It doesn't happen that often.
I haven't been to one without friendly faces, Mr. Rice, but anyways, I think we're all here to accomplish the same purpose. It's just how we get there. So, but first of all, we have a responsibility to the residents of Douglas County, first and foremost. Mr. Ingalls, did you have anything else you wanted to share with us? Mr. Ingalls.
Yeah, everybody keeps saying the same thing. It's free. It is not free. It's going to cost something. It's going to cost somebody something. And the other thing is, this condo thing that we're talking about, Mr. Feldman, who's going to pay for that? Is that a private project or is that a public project?
Private.
Okay. Now, all of this sewage is going to come down into the valley from that additional building and this all these additional projects. And it's potable. It's going into the Bentley settling ponds, and the statin drugs are not processed. So, there's a thing called the Pasadena Rose Bowl, the Florida Orange Bowl, and I don't want to see our valley become the Carson Valley Toilet Bowl. So these things have to be taken into consideration as well. And I don't think that this will be a panacea to the traffic problem at the lake. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Ingalls. So as I indicated at the beginning of this meeting, this was more than anything else, just for us, the commissioners, to get a feel and understanding of the project and our obligations under 2020 R-037. We do understand that we have a commitment up to 1/2 of 1%. no sooner than a year before the event center opens, as I understand the contract. Is that Deputy DA Zach Wadley?
Yeah, Zach Wadley, District Attorney's Office. Yeah, I think that's generally accurate. The prior board made a commitment of up to 1/2 of the 1%. That was contingent upon negotiations of an interlocal agreement with other interested parties, and a budget for the service. And that's really some of the things that we're talking about and some of the things that need to be hashed out. Yes.
That's a good question, because I saw that in there. Has that agreement between the other local parties been executed yet?
No, not yet.
I would sense, I don't know how the other commissioners feel about it, I would sense that we still need additional outreach to our public up here, perhaps put on some community forums in a little bit less formal setting, where we can talk to the residents and see where they feel we need to go on this. But my observation is, once again, it doesn't go into any of our residential neighborhoods, so I don't know how it's going to benefit our residents on an initial period. So, anyways, I think we're going to need to discuss that and then determine a time when we can bring this back to the board for possible action, Mr. Cates. Right? So, anyways, that's all we have today on that particular item. We still have closing public comment. So at this time, I will go to closing public comment. Will be taken on any items that are within the jurisdiction of the Board of County Commission and the control of ours thereof, where public comment has not already been taken. So do we have any other additional public comment here in chambers? Sensing none, do we have any? Mr. Okay, I see you, but we're under public comment right now, Mr. Ingalls.
Well, that's what I want to do, is make a public comment.
Okay, I'll get to you in a second here. So, Ms. Johnson, is there any public comment online?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Marsha Johnson for the record. At this time, there's no closing public comment online.
Okay, now we can get to Commissioner Ingalls. Closing public
All
comment.
right, thank you. Keep in mind that it was voted by a previous commission, Penzel, Walsh, and Commissioner Rice, to indebt all of us in the county to the tune of about $35 million to build the event center. So we're on the hook for $35 million already. Now you want us to put more money into this micro transit. I'm not opposed to it. It seems like an idea with merit, but I don't think it's going to resolve all the parking and transit problems at the lake. It's just, the only thing that could do that is to restrict cars in that area like they do in Yosemite. Thank you.
Thank you. Sensing no other public comment, I just in closing, I did want to indicate, I don't think there's any question amongst the 5 members of the board that we have a legal obligation here. Okay. Once again, it's just a matter of how much and what time. Okay. So that's something that we have to determine and come to reconcile with the residents of Douglas County as well. So with that, I will close this meeting, adjourn the meeting. And thank you very much for your participation. It's been enlightening and it's been helpful for us, I'm sure. So thank you.
Recording stopped.